I'm going to introduce our speakers now. We have Kate Lyall Grant, who is the publishing director of JOFFE Books. She joined JOFFE in November 2021, and she commissions the crime and thrillers and holds particular responsibility for expanding their U.S. business. She was previously the manager of Severn House's publishing program of 120 titles a year, including editing crime, thrillers, romance, sagas, historical fiction, and horror. She began her career as commissioning editor at Hodder and Stoughton, and went on from there to serve as senior fiction editor at Simon & Schuster, UK. She says, this is sort of weird of me to quote you, but I like your... She says, I love all types of crime fiction, from darkly twisting psychological thrillers to gentle but highly satisfying cozies, from chilling gothic suspense to intricately plotted police procedures, from richly imagined historical mysteries to gritty international spy novels. That is Kate.
Thank you.
Is Laura Coulman-Rich, who is a project editor. She's been a project editor with JOFFE Books since January 2020, and she came there from Penguin Random House, UK, where she worked as a freelance editor and proofreader. Prior to that, she was an editor and copywriter for Plexus Publishing, where she worked on an array of illustrated nonfiction books. And she has also served as an editorial assistant for the History Press. You might want to ask her about this. Laura is author of 3 books, including David. Oh man, I want to know what that's about. Her favorite book. I actually love this. Her favorite book, Secret Garden, because Mary, the supremely sultry heroine, is no princess. She shares her passion. That is, Laura shares Mary's passion for Bronte-esque countryside, and she has never been able to resist the mystery of a locked door. Welcome to you both, and we are very eager to hear about JOFFE Books, which, if you are not aware, is going to be celebrating its 10th anniversary with a fabulous garden party on Thursday. And most stunning of the many facts I read about them is that since they started 10 years ago, their business has increased by 3,350%. We would all
Great. Shall I kick off, Laura?
Oh yeah, that sounds perfect. Thanks, Kate.
Yeah, no, as you say, JOFFE Books was founded in 2014 by Jasper Joffe when he self-published, or his mother couldn't find a publisher for her romantic fiction novel, and Jasper published it and turned it into a bestseller, and he thought there's something in this. So he was the only employee for only person for 5 years, the first 5 years. He sort of learnt on the job, really, and he started by publishing out of print classic books, Jane Austen, things like that, and they became bestsellers. Laura, you might know more than me on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I got on board probably about 2 or 3 years before I was working in-house. I was actually one of Jasper's stable of freelancers. Yeah, so I mean, that was my introduction to JOFFE. Yeah, and it was really exciting to me because it was like no other brief I'd really had to work on. You know, the material had been previously published, and yeah, it was quite an intriguing remit because the idea was to preserve the author's original vision and their voice, but you know, also just to sort of polish up the work and yeah, like weed out any lingering typos. Yeah, so obviously it was all part of Jasper's vision of like taking these backlist gems that had maybe fallen out of fashion since they were first published. But yeah, he sort of had the vision to yeah, to look at how he might repackage them and you know, introduce them to a fresh generation of readers, which I thought was, yeah, a really cool thing. And I'd never heard of anyone else in the industry operating that way. So yeah, it was, I always really enjoyed working with him. And then yeah, as his business expanded and he realized that actually it was more than one man could handle, like you know, sing all the editing and the, as he actually designed the look of the covers as well. He has this fantastic DIY ethos, and yeah, very enterprising. But in the end, he did actually recruit extra pairs of hands to help him in this endeavor. And
Yeah, I mean, I came to Joffe as Alice said. I was managing Devon House at the time, which some of you may be aware of. We were publishing mainly for the American library hardback market. And then early in 2020, the pandemic hit, all the libraries shut. Our sales just went off a cliff. I thought, oh no, what am I going to do? Had no idea at that stage when they were going to reopen. And I'd met Jasper at a party about the year before, and he'd said, I wish you'd let me sell your ebooks. I thought, okay, park that thought. And so at the beginning of the pandemic, I called him up, said, you know, how about it? We can do something. So we started off by sub-licensing ebook rights in about 70 of our backlist titles, which are doing absolutely nothing on our list. See where it was a bit of an experiment, see where it goes. And then after 3 months or so, the royalty checks started coming in, and it was like a really good 6-figure sum every 3 months of books which were doing absolutely nothing on our list. I thought, wow, there's something. What are they doing? There's something in here. I've got to find it out. And then sort of a year later, Jasper took me to lunch and said, you know, come and work for me. And I thought, well, kind of no-brainer, really. I really want to know how it works on this in this digital market. I was getting very happy authors who'd seen, you know, been working mid-list crime writers for many years, decades, and they were getting royalty checks that they had, earning more in 20 years than in 6 months than they'd earned in 20 years, some of them. So it is so I joined, and it was definitely a baptism of fire, learning how it works. And it is all about, as Jasper said, it's ABC, it's title, cover, blurb. You've got to get it. We spend so much time on those 3 things. We publish 98% of our sales are in digital. They're usually published at 99p or 99 cents. And we put a lot of work, don't we, Laura, into the
absolutely.
title.
Yeah, everyone's so dedicated and passionate about just teasing out, you know, every project's unique, every author's unique. And you know, I like to think that we invest so much time and energy into just like identifying exactly what makes them all special, and you know, what's gonna just speak to our readers, and just really like using it to the max in the blurb and the look of the book, and with our marketing campaigns.
I mean, we quite often retitle books. We give them, we want to give them a good series titles. We didn't retitle Marty's because they were just fantastic.
I wouldn't mess with Marty's. They're amazing.
We want to give them a look. You know, we look at the covers. We look very much what's working in the Kindle bestseller lists. See, for cozies, sometimes we do illustrated, sometimes we do photographic covers. A thatched cottage, if it's set in England, English Village is a popular setting. Thatched cottage always does very well. A lot of, at the moment, I think illustrated is the way to go. Everyone's sort of copying Richard Osman. So we're not kind of trying to reinvent the wheel or something. We're just looking at what's working.
But it's really fun I love like looking at before and after photos, you know, once the series or the the standalone has had its Joffe makeover. Yeah, and it's always really satisfying to see.
And they're sort of very
Yeah.
much designed to be seen at thumbnail, to stand out at
Yeah.
thumbnail, because that is what people are going to look at to
Yeah.
see. You know, that's what 99% of views will be on. And we sell exclusively to Amazon.
Yeah.
That because we can get sort of good advertising deals with them if we're selling exclusively through them.
Yeah.
66% of our sales are on Kindle Unlimited. Obviously that's a really important tool for us. And we know our readership. It's so 55% female, or no, 80% female over 55. You know, we have a lot of readers older than that, a lot of pensioners. Cost is very, you know, they're very cost conscious. They've got a lot of time to read, and they will read.
Yeah, they're avid.
Definitely. A lot of our sales are, we have a mailing list. We've got about 100,000 people signed up to our mailing list, and you know, we want to add to that all the time.
Growing. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a daily newsletter that goes out. We publish a book a day, or we try to, just about.
Yeah.
I would say sort of about third brand new titles not being published, and about 2/3 previously published series. Because it's great, the sort of digital readers, they love to, you know, they can't, if they find an author they like and a series they like, they want to read a book every week. So it's great if we want a previously published series, we can get it out there, we can have a book a week, and they will follow that series and grow.
Yeah. And we always, sorry, Kate.
Don't worry, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, we always try to build in that momentum with new series, right? Yeah, just to strike while the iron's hot.
No, definitely. So I mean, a large part of our sales are through that 100,000 people signed up to our newsletter, and we get the news out. You've got sort of dedicated Joffe readers. A Joffe book is a mark of quality. They know they're going to get a book they like. We said this is what you read, and they trust us, hopefully. Sort of ARC brand new titles, we put books up on NetGalley 6 weeks beforehand. We aim to get those ARC reviewers up there. And again, the other major tool of driving sales is advertising. We spend £1 million a year on advertising on Amazon Marketplace, Facebook, BookBub, really targeted, and that's the real driver of sales.
It's money well spent, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. You know, we pay royalties every 3 months, so that we don't tend to pay advances at all, but we do give a good ebook royalty above the sort of what the traditional publishers would be paying. So royalty authors will very quickly see income coming in, and generally they're very happy. I mean, there are no publishers in the States, as far as I'm aware, who are doing this kind of thing in the digital market, and I think it's kind of underserved. You know, we have them in the States. Our main competitors are Bookouture and Boldwood. There's a new company, Storm, but there's nothing like that in the States, which obviously which is good for us because it's competition. I mean, currently I would say about overall 35-40% of our sales are in the States. We're looking to grow that to about 60%. Obviously it's a much bigger market. At the moment, what's really working is standalone psychological suspense. I don't know if you've heard of an author called Frida McFadden, but she just sells millions in digital. So we're kind of looking for those. I mean, that's what's really working. I mean, it's quite strange. There are two parallel worlds. It's the self-published or digital readership, and then there's the traditional print readership, and they don't kind of tend to cross. But the readers are out there, I would say our best-selling author is Joy Ellis, who was originally published by Robert Hale, which is a very small library publisher. And Jasper bought the Robert Hale list originally. She is now a millionaire several times over. But I go to the Harrogate Crime Festival. They've never heard of her. You know, we've sold her in several languages. The TV rights are optioned, in development with Richard Armitage, who's quite a famous British actor attached to star. But the traditional market have never heard of her. But there is very good money. You know, if you wanted to get your rights back and even go down the self-publishing route, if you can get it right, and get the jackets right, get your readers right, you could be earning a considerable amount. You know, I talk to people who work at Kensington, Crooked Lane, people like that, and I say, what percentage of your sales are in E? They say, well, they either say, I don't know, or it's about 35%. And I'm just thinking, you could be doing so much more. You just haven't really
potential,
yeah. Right. You haven't you're not marketing that properly. You're not going for its potential. And over in the UK, I think the traditional publishers are just starting to realise the benefits of the ebook.
Yeah, like we're seeing bespoke imprints popping up, like Embla Books, and yeah, everyone's trying to sort of get on board with this trend.
Yeah. So as Laura says, I mean, it doesn't always work. The market is tougher than it was when I joined sort of 2.5 years ago, because there's more competition about. We're also up against self-published authors. I mean, some of the ones who know what they're doing and do the best, they can just sell so much. They employ their own marketers, publicity departments, because they're only sort of focusing on their books. They can, you know, spend all the time and money, whatever, marketing possibly. And we're kind of watching them because they're quite often ahead of the trend of what's actually working. I would say, what else do we do, Laura? That's the sort of Joffe magic. I mean, we spend a lot of time on the blurb writing. We read them out to each other.
And it's so collegiate, which again was completely new for me. Like before, I had this preconception that blurb writing was like this solitary pursuit. I'd be like shut away, just waiting for inspiration to strike. But I just find it so much more helpful and inspiring and dynamic to sit down with my wonderful co-workers, people like Kate. I'll just shout across the desk and be like, hey, can we go over this draft that I have? I feel like it's lacking a certain something. And just the energy you get from back and forth like that. I would never go back to working the old way. I'm a Joffe convert.
I'm definitely a convert. I do think the future of genre fiction is in digital. I mean, we do print on demand paperbacks of all the books we publish.
And we've started, we've got a relationship with Ingram's Gardeners now, haven't we? For frontlist titles, especially, you know, where it is lovely because we're all bibliophiles as well, and we do appreciate the value of like a shiny new paperback with like a stunning full jacket design. Because we really lavish a lot of time and love into the cover brief process as well. And you know, the standard is like through the ceiling. Like we have this brutal policy where you know, if one of your coworkers shows you a design and you feel like it's a bit lackluster, it's the Joffe way to just send it back. And then we start again from scratch. So everything. We're very meticulous and exacting, and I feel like it pays off every time.
Yeah, no, we do
Yeah.
spend a lot of time on that. And you know, we're well aware, you know, we don't really, bookshops can order our books if they wish to through Ingram. We don't have them in promotions or something, but if an author wants to have a launch party,
Yeah,
they'll have
like I think,
paperbacks
yeah,
available.
like for Marty's launch, I think, yeah, we got a short, yeah, little supply of books, yeah, to back up her panel.
Yeah, no, definitely. So yeah, I think it's, you know, if you've got a backlist there and it's your publisher isn't doing anything with it, it is
Yeah,
worth getting the rights back. And either finding a specialist digital publisher or self-publishing it yourselves, because I think it could do an awful lot more than your traditional
yeah,
publisher is going for you.
yeah, it can work so much harder. Yeah, it doesn't have to be languishing, like, yeah, in somebody's back catalogue. And it can be on, you know, on your terms. And another thing that we do really well is scheduling, because we're smaller and the turnaround time is so much faster. Yeah, we can yeah, be really agile in that respect as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think another thing that Jasper learnt his craft from, there's an outfit called the Self-Publishing Formula, which is run by a guy called James Black, and they do online courses on how to self-publish, how to market your books, get the right readership. I went to their conference in London and sort of did feel like a bit of an interloper, because they was like, we don't need publishers, no, we don't need editors, no. And I was sort of thinking, yes, you do, kind of. But it was a little bit like a cult. And there's one in Las Vegas every year. I think it's just changed its name. It was called 20 books to 50K,
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that. And couple of my colleagues went last year, and they actually signed up a few authors
yeah.
who were attending that conference, because they did want a publisher, really, it turned out. But
Yeah, I feel like we're the publisher for authors who don't want to publish.
yeah,
We sort of like straddle both those worlds. Like, yeah, we do have some processes and like the big marketing machine, but also, you know, we really value the individual, and yeah, your vision for your books matters to us as well.
yeah, no, definitely. What was I going to say? Train of thought. I mean, we never stand still. I mean, when I joined, there were 10 people. There's now 20. We've
Yeah,
had
that's
2 more
amazing,
join
isn't it?
us. Yeah,
Yeah.
next month. So it never stops still. We've
Mm.
just signed a partnership with a German digital publishing company. So we're going to be JOFFE Germany. So we've given them 30 titles. They're translating them, and also into French. See how that works. Because after the US and the UK, Germany is the biggest market for crime fiction. So that's kind of well worth doing. Bookouture do it, our rivals. So it's sort of we never stand still. There's always something new and innovative to be getting on with.
Yeah, yeah, we love to push the boundaries.
Yeah. And we're really chuffed to have been on the shortlist for the CWA Crime and Mystery publisher, because I think you know, I know certainly the guys in the UK are quite traditionally minded, with the sort of upstarts, but
Yeah,
there's, you know, people are taking notice of us, and
yeah.
we've got happy authors for the main part, particularly who are earning more money than, as I said, more royalties than they've seen for a long time. So but you know, the market changes all the time. That's the thing. The digital market is very fast paced. We have to adapt quickly to keep up with it, which is why we don't have you know, it's good that we're not corporate and we can do things
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'm not sure I have anything more to tell you. Laura, what do you?
No, I mean, I think this has covered everything that I love about working for Joffe and our digital focus. But I mean, it'd be really great to hear from all of you if you have any questions, yeah, about the process and yeah, the author experience.
Yeah.
I do have a few questions I can ask, but also if anybody has a question, if you want to put it in the chat, I'll be happy to read it, and we can continue the discussion that way. I think you've covered most of the things that I was thinking about, but I guess I would ask about your open submission policy, which is a very author friendly. In case people aren't aware, you can go on their website and there is information about how to submit. And I just wondered if that means you get like 10,000 submissions a day. How do you handle that with 20 people?
I would say we probably get I don't know, about 20 submissions a day through the open submissions. They're actually, we have, though the 20 of us, we have a lot of freelance help. So with proofreaders, copy editors, just cover designers. But we also have Jasper's sister, Emily, who looks at every submission.
Yeah,
and she's
she's
a very, very fast
incredible.
reader.
Yeah.
She's incredible. So she produces a shortlist every couple of weeks of anything she thinks might be suitable for us. Occasionally, I mean, we do dive in ourselves and have a look, but Emily's lists are invaluable just to weed out anything we find is suitable. So yeah, we take submissions from anybody really. We're happy to take submissions through agents, which some digital publishers aren't. Or from authors direct, or through the open submissions. It's quite open. Oh, I also sort of didn't mention readers, because we do have a very direct relationship with our readers.
Yeah.
They're quite regular. We know them by name. They email us frequently. And, you know, sometimes if we can't decide on a cover image, we'll open it out to the readers. Say, what do you think? And it makes them feel they're involved, you know.
Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
a group called Joffe's Ark, if you want to check it out. Yeah.
Joffe's
Ark. It's like it's a pun that amused us all. Like advanced reader copies. But yeah, also it's like an ark, a boat. Yeah. So if you're
Yes, we have a Facebook group, and I think we've got about 30,000 signed up to that. But we have a sort of super reader group, which I think is about 200 people at the moment, Joffe's Ark, and we give them an advanced reading copy if they sort of commit to reviewing it in the week of publication.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, because those Amazon reader reviews are kind of crucial, and the more sort of 4 5-star reviews you can have on the day of publication, the better.
Yeah, it just gives it that bit of a boost, doesn't it? Yeah.
So that's sort of like your own NetGalley group.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Are people submitting backlists to you as well as new material through that portal?
Maybe not so much through the Ark, I don't think.
No.
People submit ideas, or do the books that you're republishing, how do you decide to find what those will be?
Well, I guess we've got a long-standing relationship with a couple of different publishers, like Kate's company, Seven House, and a couple of others like Allison and Busby. and we'll sort of cherry pick from their back catalogues. And the Robert Hale list was another like huge resource, because Jasper bought that entire imprint. And yeah, we were able to just mine it for yeah, all these untapped gems. And yes,
Yeah.
that was
Definitely. And last year we bought two companies. We bought Loom, which used to be called Endeavour Press. And that was founded in about 2011 by Matthew Lynn. And he was basically the first person to see the value of ebooks in sort of series crime. So he was hoovering up rights in all these books before anybody else was, and made an absolute fortune, because then you could just put it out there and it would sell. You now have to work a lot harder at discoverability, bringing it to people's attention. The market is much more crowded. So he kind of slightly lost interest in it. But he had 7,000 titles on this backlist of every genre, but half non-fiction, half so it was a really good
it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're working on that, slowly going through it, repackaging them, bringing it out. And we've doubled sales in the first 6 months, which wasn't hard to do, to be honest, because they weren't really doing anything with it. And we bought a romantic fiction company called Chocolate last year as well, very small. Again, she was concentrating on the print, and they weren't even available on KDP. So again, there was so much upside to it, but they were good quality books, which hadn't found their readership.
You know, Joffe Books, because my husband is one of those people who hoovers up books.
He'd be a great reader.
Sign him up for the ARC.
Sent omnibus of the 7 books by Janet Neal.
Oh, right.
Love them
very well. Yeah.
People who are doing Marnie's books. And then I saw actually later, I think I may have just not noticed, but I had the impression that the 99-cent omnibus came out first, and then later the books were actually released one by one separately with separate. Is that right, or is my miss?
Yes,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. That was another little company, digital company called Astara, which we bought. We decided to do it like that because they don't compete, those two readerships. There are people who buy the omnibus and people who buy them separately, and they don't actually eat into each other's sales. They're separate. I think we thought we'd do it first just to make a little bit of a splash, and it hit the top 100. And then brought out the titles separately afterwards, which was, they're fine. They tick along very nicely, the individual titles. You know, we didn't expect them to get into the bestseller list, but they're actually doing very nicely, which is great, because I had to work really hard to persuade the agents to sell us the rights for a slightly lower royalty they're paying. So that's paid off big time, and I'm really pleased to have brought those books to a 21st century readership, because they're really good books. They were originally published in the 90s, I think. You know, that's what we find. We bring out a lot of books, some of them published in the 80s even. We're having huge success with Patricia McDonald's standalone thrillers. You just put a little disclaimer at the front of the book saying these books were originally published in the 80s, or set in the 80s, we say. So don't expect mobile phones or cell phones. Maybe attitudes were a little different. We do find that sometimes books were republishing from the 80s and 90s, even from the 90s, early 2000s. Some of the things you say now, you just can't say then, you just can't say now. You know, attitudes are different. We have to put trigger warnings on some books, etc. So you have to be a little bit careful. Some questions in the chat. I can see. Does Joffe take on self-published novels? I see. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Certainly.
We're always happy. We don't call them backlists of a lot of books. They're only books people haven't read yet, Jasper says. So we call them previously published. But previously self-published or previously traditionally published, we are very happy to take on.
So not new ones. Wait, could you say that again? If they're-
We do take on brand new books as well.
Yeah.
The difficulty with a series is that for the digital market is that if you're only producing a book a year or even a book every 6 months, you just can't build up your readership. Again, they like to read books very quickly. And some of these self-published authors are producing books every 2-3 months. I don't know how they do it, but they do. So we're finding if you're trying to build up a readership on a series where they're only producing a book a year, you just can't do it. You lose your readers, which is why we like backlist previously published for series, because we can bring them out very, very quickly.
Yeah.
I see. Yes, I was thinking about the book a day, but if you're drawing on this great library of opportunities, then that seems very doable.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we're very lucky to have the books that we do at our fingertips.
Yeah. Other questions can I see? Are your books distributed all over the English-speaking world? Yes, basically. As I said, we sell exclusively through Amazon, but anyone can order them through Amazon. So as I said, about at the moment, overall 35-40% of our sales are in the States. But it depends. If it's an American book, it'll be more. We've got a good readership in Australia. It's a much smaller market, but I get about 5-10% of our sales are in Australia. We kind of regularly get into the Australian top 100, but
Yeah.
it's not a big population.
So, question about standalone suspense.
Oh yes, yeah, that's what our top genre we're looking for at the moment is American standalone psychological suspense. As I said, we did really well with Patricia MacDonald. Alas, she's no longer writing.
Yeah.
I've taken on quite a few. Our most successful book this year so far is called The Sister Under the Stairs by Stina Holmes. Standalone, what happened to her sister who disappeared when they were both 16, and she really keeps you going as to what actually happened to her. It's quite disturbing. That was previously self-published under the title Lies We Tell Ourselves. It didn't do terribly well, but we got it into the top 10 in the UK, the top 100 in the States. It's still selling very, very well. I think she hasn't had her first royalty check yet, but I'm looking forward to her getting it, because she's going to get a very nice surprise. And she's just and we did a second one which has done well, not quite so well. It was called, can't remember what it was called, The Perfect Family, I think. We retitled it Engaged to a Serial Killer. They do what they say on the tin, these titles. That's done well, and she's just delivered a brand new one which we're going to publish later this year. But the top selling author in this genre is somebody called Frida McFadden, who had a huge hit with The Housemaid. They're all called that, The Teacher. I mean, if you just look at the Kindle bestseller lists, she's all over it. So we're always looking for authors who will to be the new Frida McFadden. They have to be very hooky. Just get the premise in like 2 sentences. Short chapters with cliffhangers on at the end of every chapter, and get those readers racing through the pages. So if you can kind of get that sort of formula, and that suits your style of writing, that is quite a good market to be in. But we love cozies as well, particularly set in English villages. They do well. Yeah, we're not currently looking for police procedurals. I mean, we've got quite a lot on our list already. The ones who've already found a readership, they've still got their followers, but we're finding it quite tough to find new audiences for brand new ones.
Yeah, it feels like a crowded market, doesn't it, at this point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
So I watched actually the interview with Jasper Joffe on the the publishing
Oh, the
platform.
self-publishing formula project.
That was from December 2021. And he said that you were exploring some new directions or opportunities for paperbacks. Has that come to anything since then?
I think that was the Ingram distribution,
Yeah,
which is fine. It hasn't been an unqualified success. They find it quite difficult on the sort of print on demand basis to get bookshops to books to bookshops in a timely fashion.
yeah,
You know, we tell authors if they're planning a launch party, whatever, just give us plenty of warning and we can
yeah.
get the books there. And we quite often actually say, we'll just give you 20 books free of charge for an event and you can get the rest from us cost price. That's still kind of work in progress. I mean, it's not been the success we'd hoped. Still 98% of our sales are in digital, and that is where our focus is. And I think that's where it should be. You know, I look at, you read every day in the bookseller, the UK Trade magazine, you said publishers bemoaning the cost of printing, which has been going up massively, the cost of distribution, and you think, I'm so glad I'm in digital.
Yeah,
It is a pretty astonishing different world to think about. You know, 66% of the readers are reading on KEMP, so they never have that book on their bookside table, on their bedside table or in their purse, but they are reading the books.
yeah,
They are. I mean, that's the great thing about the Kindle. You can like put the type up to as big as you want. So, you know, that's why as older readers have taken to Kindles far more than younger readers.
and that
People are always
fits our
surprised.
yeah,
Sorry, Laura.
yeah. Well, no, I was just gonna say it's really right for our demographic, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have so many lovely messages from like older readers just saying like, oh, you know, it's really enriched my life so much to have this like constant supply
Yeah.
of reading material.
Last summer, I met Margaret Drabble at a
Oh
at a
wow.
publishing party, and I was a bit sort of, I was a bit of a fangirl. So,
Love
but
Margaret Travel.
she said, where do you work? So I said, I work for this newish digital publishing company, JOFFE Books. I didn't think she would approve, but she, oh, I love it. She took her Kindle out of her bag. So I thought, well, if Margaret Drabble's reading on Kindle.
Yeah, like I feel like if Margaret approves, we're doing something right.
Definitely.
And with the introduction of the Joffe Prize for, I forget exactly what it's called.
Sort of crime writers of colour or sort of underrepresented communities.
Yeah, I'm so proud of that one. Yeah.
That the existence of that prize created an increase in the submissions from those authors, or is it still sort of a smaller?
It has I mean, it's the third year of the prize now. It was set up by our colleague Emma Grundy Haig. I mean, you know, it's still very underrepresented in the crime fiction community. But we have been delighted. The winner of the first Joffe Books Prize, Christy J. Newport, she's gone on to fantastic things. She was at Crime Fest. She's on a panel at Harrogate this in July, which is really difficult to get onto. So we're delighted with her success. We haven't yet published the the last year's winner, and we're also about to publish this year's winner, which is called The Neighbour, by somebody called Renita da Silva, and I think that's really strong books. I'm very excited about that, and we were so happy because Audible came on saying we will guarantee to publish the book in audio, and they're paying a really good advance. I think it's
that was
£26,000.
wonderful. Yeah, just to have them back as a
Yep.
Yeah, so that so yeah, it's kind of, it's still early days, but it's been a big success, and it's great to get those readers
Yeah.
out. You know, we still do struggle a bit, I think, because I know our readership are very pale
Oh,
generally.
yeah.
Specific deadline for applying for that prize?
Yes, it's just opened for this year, actually. It's gone out. I can't remember what the deadline we've put on it is, but we've just sort of put it on our social media to apply for 2024.
Mm.
We can add it to our social.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah,
Oh,
the
please do.
wider we can
Yeah.
come forward, that distribute, get the word out, the better. And we'd love to have more American
Yeah, I mean,
submissions.
oh,
You really
that'd
would.
be the dream. Yeah.
Definitely. I can see a question. Do you like historical mysteries? There seems to be a market. Personally, the answer is yes, I love historical mysteries. Secondly, they don't tend to work so well for us. So I haven't been able to persuade Jasper to take on so many. We did publish one of our best-selling books of last year was a medieval mystery series, which we did in box set originally again. And that did surprisingly well. So I did say to Jasper, we can make medieval mysteries work with
Yeah.
Ian
And then,
Mawson Faulkner series.
oh, yeah,
But at the moment, we tend to say we're not really accepting submissions in historical fiction.
There's another question about novellas. Do you publish novellas?
Not really, I would say, Laura. Would you? I would say probably.
there are rare exceptions, but it's normally as part of an ongoing series, isn't it? Like Marty again had yeah, a shorter, was it book 7 or book 8?
Oh, was that Mystery at Green Oak?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we decided we couldn't. I think we couldn't charge full price for that, but we put it as a freebie as part of the series. Is that right, Laura?
Like a Christmas special.
Mm.
And that was nice because felt like a reward for the loyal readers of that series, and it was sort of self-perpetuating. It fed back into interest and marketing for that series.
Mm.
I
We
don't
do. I
know.
mean, Joy Ellis, who is our best-selling author, she has a deal with Audible, and they do an Audible original for a novella. So we publish that too. There's a deal, and we publish it like 18 months after the Audible edition or something. But she is our bestseller. We could put anything out really by Joy, and it would sell. We're in we're in that lucky position. I would generally say, I guess about 55,000 words would be our sort of minimum we would accept.
That would be respectable.
So one of the things I always notice about people's books coming out from a variety of publishers is the price that they put on the ebook. And I was recently quite stunned to see a first book by a new author published by a traditional publisher where the ebook was priced at $18.99.
Yeah.
Clearly, they do not want this book to sell. It's sort of like, me.
Well, I mean, there are some things on that, because when I was at Seven House under the old owner before he retired, he did not get ebooks at all. He did not understand the market. You know, the focus was on the hardcover, and I had a very hard time persuading him to publish ebooks at all. And the only reason I could get him to, and we were under a lot of pressure from libraries and people, because they said, we just want to have it available. And the only way I could get him to agree to publish ebooks simultaneously with the hardback was to publish it at almost the full hardback price. say 18.99. So, well, nobody will buy it at that price. It's nothing. But to our astonishment, quite a lot of people did, to my complete astonishment. So it was making a lot of money for the company at that price. But again, those were established authors who had loyal readers, series
Yeah.
readers who would go and buy the ebook, whatever price it was.
Yeah.
For a first timer, there's just no way. But you're right, I think they probably don't want to sell it much. They just want to have, the focus will be on the print. Yeah. And then eventually they will have the ebook further down the line.
Yeah.
I'm just looking on more questions. Nice comment from Kathy. So how much fun
Oh yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy.
Autumn says, I'm interested in how a self-published author is handled once they are brought into a traditional publishing company. Having books re-edited sounds invigorating.
We hope
It can
so.
be.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, if we take on a previously self-published book, we will normally hopefully just have a proofread, Laura, won't we? Some of them need a little bit more work
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah, I mean, it very much depends on, because like we were saying before, every project is unique, and yeah, we would definitely be guided by you know, an in-depth reading of the manuscript, and yeah, our feelings about that. Yeah, so I guess we've done the full gamut of work on self-published authors. Yeah, like Kate says, some of them, all that it will take is a light proof for literals, and then others, I think, you know, with the author's blessing, we have gone in and done like a more rigorous copy edit.
Yeah.
An edit even.
And yes, and I guess the answer, we treat every book as though it's all books the same, whether they're brand new,
Yeah,
previously published. They will have the same attention, the
yeah,
same care given to the cover, etc. Yeah, the same marketing spend. We will treat every book as though it's front list.
yeah. It's very egalitarian.
The question, do we publish in hardcover or trade paperback? The answer is no, not at present. I mean, it's possible to do hardcover. It's not
Yeah.
expensive. Ingram keep trying to persuade us to, but we're not really interested at present.
So then library sales really are not, do you have a sense of any percentage of library sales? Because they don't buy the Kindle editions.
No, we don't sell to library. I mean, some libraries will take our paperbacks, that they are available if they want them, but we don't sell through Overdrive or ebooks or anything like that. It's they won't be in libraries.
I think one of the things that I heard in that interview was that Joffe tries to reduce the number of layers between the publisher and the reader. It's also the publisher and the author, it seems. But your focus is selling to readers, not to bookstores, not to libraries, but to readers. And that seems very logical.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we were up earlier this week for a NIBI, which is a National British Book Award for Best Independent Publisher. And I said to Jasper before, we're not going to win. I'm sorry, because it's voted for by booksellers, and our whole business is dedicated to proving that booksellers aren't necessary. So
like doom,
they're not going to be
that
turkeys.
kind.
They're not going to be turkeys voting for Christmas.
No.
But yeah, we do have a very direct relationship with our readers. They let us know what they think of our books, whether it's good or bad, always.
You sort of have your own book club on your website too. I was noticing there's you could sign up for newsletters that tell you about free books and things. Did I?
Yeah, we do. We have a free book Friday. We always give away a couple of free books on Fridays for a limited period. And you know, that's drawing readers into a series or introducing them to a particular author.
Yeah, which we love.
Yes.
Well, does anyone have any other questions? I think I've covered the things that I had noted down. But I do have this lovely quote. I think it was from your press release about the 10 years. JOFFE Books, everyone loves reading, and their goal is never to forget that it all begins with the magic of an author telling a brilliant story.
Yeah.
We do. We love our authors, you know, and Jasper loves authors, and we're really looking forward to seeing as many of them as possible at the garden party on Thursday. And I'm only sorry more of our American authors can't be there, but we're very much looking forward to seeing Marty.
Yeah, Marty's coming.
Yeah.
We'll look forward to seeing the pictures.
Oh, yes. Or if you do follow any of our social media accounts, they will all be there. We've got a very dedicated social media manager.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yes.
10th anniversary, and thank you so much for joining us.
It's really good to meet you all, and thank you so much for hosting us.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. It's been really great to speak to you all.